Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Kali.alexandria and I make a whole bunch of different types of YouTube videos, everything from lifestyle content, day in the lives, my career in marketing, and so many aesthetic videos and finance videos just like this. So if you are an ambitious, driven, and goal-oriented person, you would love my channel, so make sure you stick around and subscribe and give this video a like if you end up enjoying it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. It is all about how I increased my credit score more than 150 points in 3 years. Let's go. I wanted to really start off this video just by saying that I am in no way a financial guru or an advisor. I just love numbers and finance and money and learning about personal finance and financial literacy. I have a few different videos on my channel. I'll link one up here if you guys are interested in more of this finance and money content. So I just want to say that I am no professional. These are just things that I have done in the past to increase my bad to no credit score. So I just wanted to say that, but I do want to say a few more things just about the history and the background of credit and how it kind of works. You really can't increase your credit score super fast. It is not like you can just call somebody and they can improve it overnight. It actually takes quite a bit of time. It is more of like a long-term gain than a short-term gain. If you're in a hole with your credit, it does take time to get out, and I just want to make sure you guys know that there is a lot of patience to be said within this. And it takes a lot of discipline, especially if you are going from having no credit or just having bad credit in general. It does take a while, it does take discipline, and it does take that consistency element. But with that being said, it honestly is super important to start developing a healthy habit with your credit and your credit score, because down the line when you're older, you're gonna need your credit score in order to get a home loan or a car loan or any type of like credit card or anything like that. So it's super important to really develop healthy habits with spending and credit, just so later on in life you kind of like reap the benefits of that. Now going into 4 major factors that impact and develop your credit score. Let's go. Number 1, payment history. This is if you are actually paying your payments on time every single month. So for example, if you have a credit card or a student loan payment, you have to pay it the day that it's due. Because if you don't, this is going to impact your credit and it's just going to dig you deeper into a hole. Number 2, another important factor that impacts your credit score, and that is credit usage. And this is just how much credit you have available. Typically people say to keep this under 30%. Just because you have maybe a credit usage of $5,000 on a credit card does not mean you should be actually spending $5,000 on that credit card. Make sure you keep it down to 30% or less. Number 3, and that is a credit history. So this basically is just the length of time you've actually had credit. So if you're somebody who is just starting off and you don't have any credit yet, your credit history is obviously not going to be that long, but it's super important to build up your credit history, because when you want to go make a larger purchase later in life, a lot of lenders and loaners like to see that you have a good credit length history. That's super important, so don't neglect that. And it actually impacts on like what type of credit cards you get or what type of loans you get, what type of APR you get, things like that. And number 4, the last one that I wanted to mention, and that is hard inquiries on your credit report. So this can mean that if you are applying for multiple credit cards at once, that is actually a hard inquiry on your credit report, which is actually not good. I did not notice this at first, and I honestly didn't know it, and I feel like a lot of people don't know this at all, and a lot of schools don't teach this, which is absolutely crazy to me, because this is like a part of life that you have got to know how to do. But make sure you aren't signing up for multiple loans at one time. I know a lot of like home buyers, they're not allowed to buy like a car within the few months of them like closing on a house, because that impacts your credit and could impact the loan for your house. So just like with credit cards, you don't want to just like go applying to so many. Like I recommend just, you know, starting off with one, saving that one for a while, using it, developing your credit and then eventually getting a second one or a loan or whatever it may be, but don't like rapid fire it. And then the second part of this video, I wanted to share how I personally increased my credit score more than 150 points in 3 years at the age of 24. So I wanted to share like a few tips that you guys can put into your financial routine as well. So let's get into that. The first thing I did, and probably the most important thing I did, was actually paid attention to my credit report. So I have a Capital One credit card, and you guys excuse me, I'm just getting over some sickness, so if my voice sounds weird, I apologize. But with that aside, I have actually paid attention like crazy to my credit report. I check it every few weeks, and since I do have a Capital One credit card, I actually can check my credit score through the Capital One app, which is really nice. So whenever I'm just going in and looking at my credit cards, I can just look at my score, which is very, very nice. But if you don't get a Capital One card, you can actually just check it on creditkarma.com for free. It is super easy, but just make that part of your money routine, especially like maybe once a month, because it's super important to kind of know where your numbers are. You can track this, and then you can also dispute anything if something comes up and that's not right or like something happens. The second thing I did was I paid down my debt as much as possible, and I made my payments on time every single month, and that impacts your credit like crazy. They want to see that you can make your payments on time, especially like we have talked about later on in your life. If you get a bigger loan, like a home loan, they obviously like want to see that you can actually make that mortgage payment, and that is so important. The next thing I did was actually kept my credit utilization to under 25%. So like I talked just earlier in this video that a lot of people say to keep it under 30%, and I just went down a notch and tried to keep it under 25%. Especially like if I didn't need to use my credit, I just did the lowest amount of spending on my credit cards and then paid that off, because that is what's going to help you in the future. Next, I set up auto pay. So for example, my student loan payments are on auto pay, so I don't have to like put a calendar date in my app or write it in my planner, and it just comes out automatically, so I know I'm never gonna miss a payment. I really struggled with this in the beginning, because whenever I first got my student loans and I started paying back my student loans, I didn't realize there was an auto pay, and I accidentally missed it by a day, and this could really hurt you. And it's such a stupid, like simple little thing that you shouldn't miss, but can actually like put you into a super big hole, and it actually takes you a long time to get out of that hole if you just make a silly mistake like that. So I recommend to never like not use auto pay if you can help it. It saves literally everything with your credit, so I highly recommend you guys do that. Never miss payments. Never miss payments. Next thing is making sure you are actually paying off your cards every single month. So you don't have to go swipe happy, and I recommend to not just like spend money. Since you have a credit card, just use it for something simple like gas, and that's a relatively low amount, so just pay that off in the end. And just doing something like that actually increases your credit, which is super crazy, but it is super helpful to know. So if you're just starting off with trying to build your credit, I highly recommend you guys do something simple like that, and do not go swipe happy. And then the next thing I really enjoy doing is asking for credit card increases on the credit cards that I already have. So for example, for Capital One, it's super easy to just go into the app and ask for an increase, and this is not a hard inquiry on your account, so you don't have to worry about that. You are just asking for an increase, and what this does, it actually builds your credit score, because you have more credit that you can actually use. So I know that sounds kind of confusing, but just try every few months to just go into your credit cards and either call them or kind of submit for an increase, because this will help you in the long run. And then finally, I want to go over the do nots of raising your credit and building your credit. I'm gonna reiterate this so many times, but don't apply for a bunch of credit cards at once. I talked about this prior, and this is so important, but don't apply for a bunch of them at once, because this really affects your credit report. Don't pull out a loan just to pull out a loan. Like, do not do that, whatever you do. For example, I started off at I was 19. I got a $500 limit credit card, and that is how I started building my credit. So don't go signing up for like a $2,000 loan or whatever it may be. Don't cancel credit cards unless you have to. So for example, if you get a credit card, you use it for a couple months and you're like, okay, great, I spent money on gas and then I paid it off, great, and then I'm just gonna cancel it because I don't need it anymore. No, this actually affects you because this affects the actual credit length that you have in your credit history. So whatever you do, don't cancel credit cards unless you like absolutely need to. Make sure you use credit to leverage your financial journey and not just have an excuse to like go spend money and spend the money that you don't actually have, that you ultimately have to pay back and maybe accrue interest. You guys know the drill. Only spend money that you actually have unless it's an emergency. So I hope that helps, and I hope all these tips helped you guys if you are just starting on your credit journey or you want to repair credit. So thank you guys for watching. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you are notified every time I post. But thank you guys again, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!